How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Trader Hotline. How we doing, guys? Hope you're having a great Thursday night. Let me go put this back. How's it going? How's it going? I gotta change that thing up top, huh? Monday set, yeah. Hey, Mark, Elijah, Rico. Thanks for coming early, Rico. Wall Street Gambler. Hopefully we can change that. Mark, what's up, man? It's on my shirt. All right. Well, tonight, as always, we'll get some people on the line and see what questions you guys have. Last one before the vacation. No, we'll have one more. We should have one, next Thursday. So the 21st will be our last one before vacay. So we got one more. What's up, Mike? What's up, Budget? Stanky Leg? What's up, man? Is this Desi's channel? This is, it's not my main channel, but it's my channel. Hey, dude, love your levels. Get them every day. Up 90% this week. Wow. Nice. Congratulations, my friend. Well done. Love to see it. Love to see it. Nicely done. Yeah, it's been a great market. It's definitely been a trader's market. It's a market that we sit around and wait for. You know, we've waited for, basically, we've sat around and waited for May this entire year. May has been the best month of my year by a very large margin. And, sometimes we talked about this. Sometimes you just wait for that 1 year, right? You wait, or that 1 month. That's actually, a good topic to discuss. Let's go ahead and discuss that real quick while people call in. You guys should make sure to call in, make sure to dial in. I know we already got some people. Nick's already listened to some calls. But the topic that we can discuss right now, let me make sure that's showing on the screen, is sort of the idea of waiting for hot markets, right? So throughout the year, there's sideways, there's chop, there's moments of time to back off, to not be as aggressive, to, maintain and retain your account and not, push it and understand that, hey, it's just not providing that opportunity. It's not providing the continuation. And I'm sure a lot of you guys that maybe are new to trading, you can clearly see the difference in May versus January versus February. It's a very clear difference out there. The price action is extremely different. There's real volume. There's real continuation. And I'm sure a lot of people are seeing better results. And that's not just because everyone overnight just randomly became better traders. That's not what it is. It's markets provide easier opportunities. They provide more difficult opportunities. And there's nothing wrong with staying away from difficult opportunities and becoming really good at spotting when it's difficult and when it's easier or when it's more aligning with your strategy. That doesn't make you a bad trader, or it's not it's not some kind of a skate or a cope or a scapegoat or, a bailout that, oh, hey, Desi only made money, or, oh, I only made money in May. No, that's good, right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing written that says you need to make money every month. You need to be a profitable trader every single month. All that matters is what's the number look like at the end of the year, right? Or what's the number look like throughout your career? You can have nothing January through May or January through April, and you can have a killer month in May, and that can make your entire year. There's no rule that says you have to be consistent every month. This is amount that I'm going to make. That's not how trading works. Okay, that's how trading maybe has been sold to some, but that is simply just not how trading works, because markets are not providing the same opportunities every single day, every single month. Remember that. Long term, remember that, because I can tell you one thing. This is extremely similar to my 2024 year, where you had a really strong move in 2024, and that accounted for a very large amount of profit for my year to date. And it looks like this year is going to be very similar, right? This month has accounted for 80% of my year to date profits, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. To think that that's a bad thing is false. The market has been providing that opportunity. Go and take advantage of it. I don't care what anyone says. So make sure to remember that. Make sure to always try to understand what's the market conditions, and is this an opportunity for me to get aggressive, or is this an opportunity for me to back off and retain? Hardest part is trusting the levels. Yeah, you get used to it over time, man. How can you tell when the market starts slowing down? When you're no longer in a trend, right? When you're no longer making those higher highs and higher lows every day. When you're no longer creating, higher highs above the previous day high, or when you're no longer getting that clean intraday continuation. You'll be able to tell. Trust me. Just got to watch it every day. All right. Nick, how we doing? How many calls we got?
We're good. I got Elijah on the line.
Okay.
Ready whenever you are.
All right. Let me go ahead and live caller. All right. Let's do it. Hey, Elijah, how are you? Can you hear me? Elijah? I hear your phone. Hey, that's the risk of doing it live, huh? Elijah, you there? All right, I'm going to give Elijah about 5 more seconds. Maybe 30 seconds. Elijah. All right.
He was just there, so there might be a problem. Let me call him back.
I can hear his phone in the background. I don't think he's via his phone. His Bluetooth is connected, probably. Maybe. I hear the little noises. All right, Nick, you can call him back if you want. All right. Yeah, guys, make sure to be by your phone if you call in, for sure. Make sure to be there. It's very important. Problem is that after you've been burned badly, you're afraid to size up in the kind of market. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. But we got to remember, every day's a new day. Obviously, coming back after being burned is tough, right? There's a mental, it's difficult mentally getting back on top, getting back in the swing of things, and getting back on track. All right, let's see. Try 2 here. Hello?
Oh my goodness. Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can't hear nothing.
Can you hear
That's
me?
weird.
I can hear you.
Hello? Oh my goodness. Hello?
Check. Let me see. It might be on my end.
I think it's on your end, because he said he couldn't hear you either.
All right. Damn, this happened last time too, huh? Tell Elijah we'll be right back with him, all right? Call him back, Nick. All right. I guess this is the second time I've had some technical difficulties here. How did we fix it last time? It wasn't on my end last time, I don't think. Let's see here, guys. Sorry about that. Voice settings. I probably should. Let me try one more input. Yeah, they're both on the right. Let's try someone else, Nick, and then if it's if they don't work, then I'll try to figure it out. Let's try someone else. We'll get it fixed, Elijah. I don't know why it's happening. It happened last time too. But we did get it fixed last time. Yeah, it's probably on my end, Elijah. It's not your fault, man. I gotta figure out how to change my output settings on Google Chrome or on my computer.
All right, Vince, I got Kent on the line.
All right, let's try it, and we'll see if it's on my end. Can you hear me, Kent?
I can hear you.
All right, so Kent can hear me. Interesting. All right, well, let's start with Kent. Elijah, we'll get back to you, man, but let's try to figure out what the deal is. Kent, how you doing, man? How are you?
Good. I'm a little shocked my question got in.
Hey, we try to get to everyone.
So my question is,
Mm-hmm.
the market has screamed higher.
Yep.
And you know there's a pullback coming. You know it is.
Yep.
How do you not be the last one holding the call when it shifts?
Okay. Good question. So that's going to depend on how you trade, right, Kent? So are you an intraday trader?
Both. I was intraday when market was going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I finally had one holdover this week that made me some money.
Yep.
But I'm still a little leery of the holdovers because of how far we've run.
Got it. Okay. So if you're concerned about that, which I think is a valid concern, right? Like if that's starting to be in your head and you're like, hey, I'm starting to get concerned about, maybe something having, a rejection, and maybe you're concerned that it's going to happen overnight, right? Where it's like you can't react to it if you're like, let's say in an options position. What I would do is just, if that's your opinion, right? And I'm not going to be able to tell, I can tell you in terms of technicals, we'll get into that shortly, but if your opinion is that, then just, there's nothing wrong with continuing to trade on the intraday, right? So come into the day with an unbiased opinion. The worst thing that you can do is to come into the day with a biased opinion that we have to pull back and today's the day, right? So I don't want you doing that, because people that have done that for the last 3 weeks have missed out on every absolutely beautiful opportunity to the upside. So should the pullback happen? Absolutely. Will it happen tomorrow? I have no idea. Will it happen next week? I have no idea. What I can tell is what is happening intraday, right? And I can tell you what's happening on the charts. And so if you're feeling that, hey, I just am feeling uneasy about holding overnight because of how much we've ran, then intraday trade, right? Nothing wrong with that. If you want to still take the chance of, okay, well, my system tells me that we are still potentially going higher, then that's why I've still been holding some swing trades, but I've scaled down, right? I have been slowly getting less aggressive because there's probably an increasing chance of some kind of an intraday or overnight downside move at some point. So I still like some opportunities, but maybe I'll scale down a little bit. But let me show you on the charts, right? Like if we look at the charts here, how do I know that today was another potential bullish day, right? And there's ways to tell that based off the intraday analysis. So what happened this morning, right? Why did the NASDAQ go up again, right? Why did we go up again? It's because, and this is what a lot of people, I think, still don't understand. I think maybe don't truly trust technical analysis enough. They just think it's maybe a fallacy and that it's not true. But to be honest with you, man, right? This is Monday's highs. Right? You can see the screen, right? You'll see it on the YouTube. This is the Monday high. This is the Wednesday overnight high. Here's the low that developed here. And today, you held that low, right? And so you simply, like if you came to the pre-market live stream, we make a thesis every day for whether we should go higher or on that day we should go lower, right? And if the things that continue to happen are showing that we're going to go higher, then we're going to keep going higher, right? So if you held this, we said today, if you hold Monday's highs as a new low, the market's going to go higher. And what did the market do? It held that low and it went higher. What could have happened today? It could have failed, right? It could have rejected, and it could have went lower, right? That was very possible to happen. We can react upon that, right? We don't have to guess when that's going to happen. We have the ability to, it's why we're watching the market every day. If today the NASDAQ failed this high, right, and we stayed under this all day, I would say to you, hey, guys, we might be seeing a top, right? Why? Because you finally have turned the level back into a rejection point, or you have maybe a double top failure, right? So you're starting to maybe...
How do you know that's not just a pullback for another long?
Well, then you have to continue to watch. Is that a rejection point? Sure, that could possibly be the start. Okay, now is it going to come down to this level, and is it going to hold? That's what we're going to have to watch. And if it does that, then you say, all right, this level's holding, and now I'm going to watch to see if this level turns into a failure again. If it does, right, maybe you start to build an idea around, okay, this is possibly starting to reject again. Or what could happen is this fails, right, comes back to here, reclaims this level, and then you know, okay, we're going up again, right? And so there is no reason for you to try to know when this market is going. You trying to figure that out is pointless. What is that doing for you? Nothing. It's not doing it. Why try to understand when this is going to drop? Why not just watch what's happening every day and trade based off the levels and trade based off what's happening on the intraday, right? Why not just see if this rejects? If it does, I'll short it to here, right? And if this holds, then I'll look to see if this turns into a long back to here, right? Why have to know when this is going to top? This is a problem that a lot of people try to guess. It's not worth, you're not going to take a trade based off just trying to guess when the top is in. It has no merit for you. If this level holds today, intraday, you take that long today, right? And that's exactly what we did, and we made money. Job done. Today's job is done. I longed off this retest. I made a plan that if this holds, it turns into a long, and that would be the reason I look for upside today. We traded upside. We made money. Job's done. Move on to tomorrow, right? What's tomorrow's plan? If tomorrow we hold above maybe this high right here, maybe we hold this level again, right? We'll make a plan, obviously, in the pre-market. Let's say, all right, if the NASDAQ now turns this into a higher low, right, maybe between 29,640, and we start to see this develop as a higher low, well, guess what? We're going to look for longs again. And we're going to keep doing this every day, right? And then maybe tomorrow we see this, right? Maybe we say, all right, NASDAQ fails, rejects. Okay, now maybe I can look for a failure at that 693. And then if that failure then turns into another failure, right? And now we're starting to see like consecutive level breaks and consecutive rejection stepping in and some lower highs and lower lows, right? Maybe even takes it down to here, right? Then we can start to say, hey, maybe this thing has started to, see some cracks in the foundation. And we're just using that information every day to make intraday decisions and to have basically short-term memory. Today is today. Tomorrow, what's going to happen? Are we going to see failures? Are we going to see more holds? I'm just using that information every day, and I'm adjusting on a daily basis to stay on the right side of this market. There is absolutely no merit in trying to be scared of what's happening, to be, not accepting what's happening, to be not participating because you think that it should pull back. All these thought processes. And another thing to really think about here, man, is if you longed something tonight and tomorrow it's down, if you're trading, if your position size are correctly and you're not over leveraged, who cares, right? Why not continue to play the hot hand, right? If the NASDAQ, if you say, hey, if the NASDAQ holds this level today, I think we hold, and I'm going to look for a long, and if we close strong, I'm going to stay in it, and I'm going to see if it continues. Someone that said that over the last 2 weeks has continued to be right? And has continued to profit when everyone thinks that it should keep pulling back. So, I mean, even looking at this chart right now, right? Looking at the NASDAQ right now, to me, this looks like it's about to push higher, right? Again, because it's holding above this high, it's maintaining it, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the NASDAQ green overnight tonight. But if you're worried about it, right, here's what you do, right? You don't swing trade, or you size very small overnight, and you just trade the levels on an intraday basis, right? I mean, I think moral of the story here is there is no reason to try to guess when the high is. There's just no one is going to be able to know that for sure. And you can make, the goal is right. What's the goal? The goal is to make money. Okay. That's our goal as traders, to make money. There is absolutely ways to make money if this keeps going higher. Just trade it the way it's going. And one day we're going to wake up and we're probably going to see this thing down maybe 1%. Maybe we'll see a nice 3% downside day intraday. Guess what? Everyone that's been guessing when that may happen, or let's say someone like me, let's take two people, for example. I'm the guy that isn't even thinking about it, right? That's just trading what's on the market. Then we have another guy that's like sitting around waiting for, when is that going to fail? When is it going to fail? I can't believe it's still going higher. So you have those two different people, right? I have every chance. I have just as good of a chance of making just as much as that other person when it actually starts going down, right? So if you think about that, right, is there even any reason to think about it? Is there any reason to cloud your judgment on that? I could make the same amount of money when that downside happens by just readjusting on the intraday, because I look at the market every day, because I adjust to what the levels are doing. I adjust to what I'm seeing. And instead of clouding my judgment every day of like, I can't believe this is happening, what's going to happen? I'm just going to wake up the next day. I'm going to do my analysis. My analysis is going to say, hey, look, levels are rejecting. This could be a downside trade. I'm going to take that trade. And when we start falling, I traded all the upside and I'm going to trade all the downside, right? So just be able to be liquid, right, and adjust on a daily basis and continue to follow the trend. And at some point, we're going to see a lower high, right, or a double top, or a major rejection move that could spark something. But we'll be there, right? Remember, you're going to be there for that. You're not going to miss it. You're not going to, as long as you're not overexposed, which you never should be, you're going to be just fine, right? So tomorrow, I have some Tesla swing trades overnight. I got, $2,000-$3,000 in it. If Tesla's down 3% tomorrow, I lose $1,500. So be it. I'll trade the intraday. I'll make that money back. And that's it, right? And we move on. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. That does a good job.
I think just don't be in denial.
Right.
Don't be in disbelief. It's not going to take you anywhere. And I don't want you to turn this advice around and just say, hey, Vincent says to be long, and even though I'm not comfortable, right? If you're not comfortable with what's happening, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? Just stay cautious, and I'm sure you're going to get your pullback. But there's probably going to be some opportunities, and there is opportunities that you might miss out on with that mindset. So don't just like instantly change that, but I would work towards understanding in the future that markets are very irrational. We could have had this conversation last week, right? Like we could have had this same conversation right here. If we're looking at this chart, right? Look at this chart. I mean, we could have had a conversation back in April 15th saying this is too high, or right, how are we green 6 days in a row, right? But guess what? I mean, we were green 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 days in a row. Green 14 days in a row. We could have had this conversation here, and we'd be giving you that same advice. And guess what? From that 14-day in a row green streak, we are up another 12% on the NASDAQ. So what is stopping this from going another 5, 6%? There's nothing stopping it. You can't just assume that this is going to somehow peak somewhere. At this point, just if I give you my opinion, I would assume that 30,000 on the NASDAQ's probably going to be a pretty hefty area. And maybe that's where, if you want to try to target something and say like, hey, 30,000 is going to be where it's, where it tops. If you really want to put a number on it, maybe that's it. But what I'm going to do, right, is what I always do. And I'm going to walk in tomorrow and I'm going to say, are we holding the Wednesday overnight high? Are we holding previous day low, right? Are we holding Monday's lows? If we pull back to that, is it hold and is that just another long, or do we fail back below it, right? And if we fail back below it, I know that I'm going to be able to look for an intraday downside trade, right? And I'm going to trade that. I'm going to take a profit on a downside trade because we're rejecting Monday's highs, and that's going to be my day, right? And so everyone that's been like in denial about the upside move, the people that are just taking advantage of the upside are not wrong. They're probably going to react just as good to the downside as they have been trading the upside, right? If they're, staying locked in and staying fluid to the opportunity. So that's my long-winded answer for you.
Okay.
Hopefully that helped.
Yeah. And thanks for everything.
You got it, man. Have a great night.
You too. Bye.
I probably should let people talk more. I take over the conversation, but that one is just that one has been something I've been sort of fired up about lately, I guess you could say. That's been a topic that I've been there's a few topics that once in a while I get really fired up and passionate about, and that has been one because, guys, you have to be taking advantage of this move. You have seen the intraday price action. You have seen, if you come to the live streams, you have seen the levels every single day, right? Just hold and pull back and hold. Tesla 430, right? TSM 207 today. NASDAQ on a retest of Monday's highs. Just perfect every time, right? You got to trust that. These are, I don't want to say easy, but today was an easy NASDAQ long, like one of the easiest longs. We were, this morning, if we pull back to Monday's highs and hold, that's a break and retest long. And it just did exactly that. NASDAQ went up 300 points from that point today. It's just crazy. So trust the levels. If you've been getting in tune with levels, I think you're probably having a fantastic month. And I think, maybe if you're not there yet, start getting in tune with technical levels, man, because when the market's in trends and when you have true price action, levels are dictating everything. This is a pure technical move where you have just perfectly clean spots that are maintaining, like even just over the, previous 3 days, guys. Look at this chart. Look at how many times you have traded off this level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that is right here, sorry. That is just incredibly clean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 7 times right here, right here, right here, even right here, right here. Like just trust that level, trade off of it, and use it to create theses around your trades. That's it. Keep it easy, right? Don't think about the what ifs. What if we tank overnight? What if this happens? What if that happens? Trade the levels, make your money, get the hell out, go do something else. Bam, done for the day. Repeat, rinse and repeat every single morning. That's it. All right, let's get to the next one. What do we got, Nick?
All right. We're going to try Elijah again.
All right, Elijah, here we go again. Let's try it. Let's see. I'm praying for you, Elijah.
I'm praying too. Can you hear me?
Now I can. What's up, man?
What's up, Vincent?
How are you, man? What's going on? What do you got for me?
I'm doing good. I've been really anticipating, talking to you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I've been trading for a little over a year now.
Okay.
And I quit my job to focus on trading full time. I'm actually at a restaurant with my family, but I said bump them. I'm going to talk to Desi right now.
Shoot. All right.
But yeah, I quit my job full time to focus on my full time job to focus on trading full time.
Okay.
And I was wondering if I could, kind of explain my my personal strategy to you, or maybe I have like a document where I could send it to you.
Yeah,
because,
give me like a little 5-minute rundown, and then you can also maybe later tonight when you get back to the house, you can email it to us.
Okay, sounds good. So I'll probably just do my entry confirmation checklist.
Okay, all right.
I have a bunch on this document,
All
like
right.
the pre-market, entry confirmation, and exiting, all that. But maybe I'll just stick with the entry confirmation.
Yeah.
So yeah, since I am, still back testing and, still learning,
Mm-hmm.
I think I am more strict on the strict side of, taking trades. I don't want to just be taking any trades. I want to make sure it's really A+. And I'm okay with missing out on, B setups. So it might be on the more stricter side, I might say. So
What is it you look for? What's like the best thing you look for? Do you have like a trade, A+ trade that you like to look for? For example, for me, break and retest of previous day high is up there as one of the, my favorite things to look for.
yeah, I use that strategy. I use the break and retest strategy.
Okay, so if you see a break and retest of previous day high, that's something that you're gonna be more confident on, or that's maybe a trade that you look for.
That's a trade I look for, and I'm more confident on the previous day. But it don't have to be the previous day. It has to just be a very key level.
Yeah,
you're right. I prefer at least.
You're right about that.
Taps. Yeah, at least 2 taps, and then kind of it tapped recently. That's where people actually are interested in recently.
Yeah.
So that I have to make sure I have the right contracts, because I've back tested that. I've been messing up with getting in the wrong contract.
What's your morning game? What does your morning prep look like? Are you looking at individual equities? Is there a set list that you look for every day? How's it look in the morning?
So yeah, I trade the same stocks. I trade SPY, QQQ, big cap names, NVIDIA, AMD, those type of stocks.
Mm-hmm.
And so I only trade those stocks. I must have clarity. I must have a bias. I must have like a bias on the big 4 stocks: QQ, NQ, ES, and SPY.
Okay.
So I don't take any break and retest if it doesn't align with the market.
Right.
I have
That's
to have
good.
a market bias.
Yeah.
It has to be
So are you looking at NASDAQ and ES, or you're just using SPY and Qs?
I use all 4, and
Okay.
if one of them is not not aligned together with all, like maybe other 3, I probably won't take the break and retest strategy. I might not take a break and retest setup.
Okay.
So I'm very strict. And yeah, I just want to know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you, definitely continue to. I mean, I trade the break and retest. I think something you have to understand about the break and retest, something to put in your little, morning checklist, is you have to make sure, or you have to have to be successful at trading the break and retest, you have to have a very good understanding of market conditions. Okay, you need to understand whether the market is in a continuation and sort of risk-on environment like you're seeing right now, or if it's in a more consolidation, choppy, range, right? So something I would actually use, for example, it's actually a trade that I'm in. I actually just took profits on it as we're sitting on this live stream.
Okay.
But so gold, right? Like look at gold on the chart. I don't know if you're looking at the screen, but if, maybe you can watch this later. But,
Okay.
over the last 3 weeks, gold has been trading in a sideways range, right? And so in these ranges, the break and retest it's terrible. It does not work. Okay. Simply put, in a range like this, it's about buying the lows and selling the highs, right? That's not a break and retest. That's just channel trading. So when the market is in those periods like it was to start this year, it's very difficult to be a break and retest trader. Why is that? Because you're looking for continuation, right? Break and retest in the core of it it's a break of a key level, it's a pullback, and it's a continuation move, right? So you're looking for the next continuation move to profit on. And so if your market is just sort of consolidating, right, and not really breaking and retesting for new highs or new lows, it's very difficult to be, profitable. So it's been super important in my career to really be in tune with whether I think the market is in an environment that provides continuation and that provides the break and retest, the best environment for the break and retest. So right now is a fantastic time to be a break and retest trader because you're getting nothing but continuation, retest of key levels that hold and that, you find that new entry point. So just remember that, right? Ask yourself in your pre-market prep every morning, say, do I have a level that I want to see break and hold, and do I have an area above it, right? It's always important to look above, like, do I think there's possibility of continuation above that level? Yeah. Or do I see maybe are we starting the day inside of the previous day's range? If, let's say, yesterday's high and low, and then the pre-market and the market open the next day is between the high and low of the previous day, right? So if you're looking at that, you may say, I don't really want to trade inside of yesterday's highs and low because you're probably not going to get much, clean continuation. There's no breaks. You're just channeling, right? And so that's very important. Remember that. Always remember that. Have your spots marked out, which you do, right? You have, hey, I want to look for a break and hold above X level. So, for example, this morning, right, one of our trades that we looked for this morning was MRVL. That was a trade. I don't know if you come to the morning live streams with me, but if you don't, I recommend you do. But today, one of our trade ideas was, hey, MRVL is above previous day high in the pre-market, and if it can, retest that level, hold it, then I might be looking for a break and retest a previous day high, right? And so that was our game plan. We had that game plan. We said, all right, this is a quality setup because this is a break above previous day high, and let's go ahead and, we'll look at that this morning. We can see right here, we reclaimed that previous day high, which was right here, and we took a long on that previous day high reclaim. So just have your, I always do better in my trading, and my trading days are always better when the trade that I took was directly a trade that I game planned for in the pre-market. When I find myself take trades on the intraday that I had no plan for, it typically turns into a loss, right? Something that sparks my interest because of intraday volatility. I'm like, oh, shoot, look at this, right? And I'm like, well, I didn't really look at this pre-market. I didn't really have a game plan, but it's moving. So I'm going to try to take advantage of it, right? Like those little impulse trades because something's moving, stay away from that. I want you to have a game plan for every trade that you take. And it, in my opinion, has to be done in the pre-market, right? So you've mentally prepared and, have an idea for it. What else, would you have a question on for your system? You know what? Actually, before you do that, I want to say one thing to you because I think this is the biggest piece of advice I can provide you.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't love that you quit your job to be a full-time trader, okay? And I'm sure you know that I'm gonna say that. That's a pretty aggressive move to make. Now, all I want to say is that I want to make sure you have some kind of an income. Full-time trading does not have to require you to take up your entire day. So I would still be, if I was in your situation, I would still be using let's say after the trading hours, let's say you trade from like 9 to 12, right? I would definitely still be using some hours of your day to be, trying to find some kind of an income outside of trading. I really highly recommend that. I would almost say like I almost guarantee if I'm not going to tell you what to do. You're a grown man, but I would almost guarantee or mandate that you do that, because trading, you're going to go through ups and downs, man. I still do. You've seen some of my bad months, right? February this month, I lost like $15,000. If I didn't have an income, and there's no, I'm not, me, I don't lie about anything. Of course I make money through the Discord community that people join, right? But I provide a service that people enjoy. They stay, right? So they're getting value out of it. Of course I make money from me being on this YouTube right now, and ad revenue, whatever it might be, right? There's no reason to lie about that. These are all things that provide me income, that make it easier on me to take risk and to be comfortable with trading, right? Because I still know that I have something coming in, and that I can, make sure that I can provide for whatever I need to provide for. So I think not only just personal man-to-man advice that I want you to have an income source, but I also think it will benefit your trading, because you won't be so worried about having to make money, right? Like, if you don't have to make the money, then you won't be so, maybe you won't force something. Like, if you say, like, what happens, Elijah, if you say, hey, I don't like a setup for 2 weeks, right? And, you have no income. And that should be okay, right? Because if your setups just aren't showing, then it's not wrong of you to not be trading something. And if you're starting to see yourself force something because you need to have an income, well, that could go bad. And so I would just, make sure you find, try to grind outside of the trading hours, try to find some kind of an income. And I hope that I hope that you take that advice. What are your thoughts on? I mean, are you in denial? Like, how do you feel about that advice? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? What are your thoughts?
For most other people, I would agree, but for myself, I saved enough money.
Okay.
Let's just say I'm not worried about money right now. I made
Okay.
sure I'm in the space to where I can, I can comfortably trade.
Good.
I don't force trade. I saved up enough before I quit. I didn't just up and quit.
All right. Good.
So,
well, that's good to hear.
Yeah. Also, I live frugally, and I do dog sitting, dog walking, anything that doesn't interfere with trading. I try to do some other stuff to earn income.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, at least you're not, you're definitely, you've made the decision you made clearly had thought behind it. So at least it wasn't some kind of impulse, I
absolutely.
quit, I'm going to start trading.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Good.
Yeah,
well, hey, why don't you send over that list to us in an email, and, I'll try to find, maybe on my trip to Italy, when I, have some time, I'll just take a look at it, and just maybe on the flight, I'll review it and try to get back to you with some advice.
Sounds good. That sounds good to me. Yeah, whenever you get the chance, that would be great. Take your time.
You got it, man. All right, well, I appreciate you calling in. Best of luck, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for everything you do.
You got it, bro. Have a great rest of your night. Say hi to the family for me.
I sure will.
All right, see ya.
All right, bye.
All right, well, hey, take a look at this. We just made $5,600 on gold. Bam, baby. Downside on gold, $5,600. Not bad. You guys want to talk about why I took this trade? Why don't we do it? Let's do a live analysis of the trade that I just took on gold from 49.57 down to 49.29, and I probably shouldn't have sold this, but I just did it because we're live on air, so I figured why not just take a nice little $5,600 profit while we're sitting here. So let's go ahead and break that down real quick while Nick has maybe, he probably already has another one lined up, but all right, let's look at it. What is the it's actually crazy, man. I can't believe I just did that. Anyways, why did we just make $5,600 on gold there? Well, it's the break and retest. Who would have known, right? Who would have guessed? The break and retest. Could you believe it? Well, can you see it, right? Do you see it? Do you see why I took a gold short? You probably do, right? This is possibly one of the cleanest trade setups on gold that was provided, right? Take a look at this chart. Let's review it. See this here? What's that, my friends? You're going to hear a lot of things that I talk about all the time. What's that right there? Low volume upside, right? Straight up move. Okay, great. We have a low volume upside move right here. Let's go to the volume profile, okay? Let's pull up that volume profile. Volume profile, I can guarantee you, has nothing in between that area, right? Look how light this gets. Why is this so light here? Because you've consolidated, right? Look at that consolidation. You've accumulated volume inside of that area, all right? And look at the volume that happens after that drops off, right? Look at the drop off here. Look at the valley. Why does that valley there in the volume profile? Because it's straight up, right? Straight up. So what do we look for? Well, we're going to look to see if this previous low, right, turns into a rejection point. And if it does, right, this is exactly what we were talking about in the beginning of this live stream. How do I know if the market's going to go straight or go back down? Just like this, right? What happened on gold to tell me that we might go down? It broke below the channel lows, right? It broke below the channel lows. It retested the channel lows. It rejected the channel lows. That is a perfect, and I mean perfect, break and retest rejection, right? And so when I saw that retest coming in, you can see right here, I took a short at 45 or 46.57. I put a risk above like 46.65. I maybe would have dragged it to 70. Was risking, I think, about $2,500, so it's about a 2-to-1. So I entered here, risked here, and just profited into here. And that's just a break and retest of a channel low, right? Very, very common trade, nothing fancy, exactly what we look for, right? Break and retest of channel low into a low volume gap below. And that is just absolutely beautiful. So there's your trade right there. All right. Nick, what do we got? Oh, Nick.
Hey, sorry, I'm on the phone with someone.
Oh.
Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do another one.
All right. This is someone from the Discord who's been with you for a while. Trey Fad, I believe is what he said.
I know Trey.
Yeah. So it's actually his son's name,
Okay.
but I'm going to patch him in.
You say Trey dad? I know Trey's dad.
Yeah, Trey's dad. That's what
Okay.
it is.
Yeah. I know Trey's dad.
All right.
Margin, we're gonna have to get to other people, brother. I know we gotta spread the wealth around, man. Trey, what's up, man?
Hey,
How are
Desi, how's
ya?
it going, man?
Good. Long time no talk, I guess.
Yeah.
What's
First off, really
happy to
appreciate you
hear
doing
from you.
this. Yeah, thanks so much. It takes a lot of your time and effort, and we really appreciate the passion you have for it, and thanks for taking care of us on this.
You got it, man.
Hey, so for sake of time, just a quick summary. Been trading with you for years, been following, building the levels.
Yep.
The shortcut using the levels with TradingView has been phenomenal, by the way.
I appreciate it.
Love those levels, and it's helped me tremendously. My gap where I need guidance is I'm the opposite of the last caller. I have a 9-to-5 that takes care of the family and I. But this is my goal for my retirement gig.
Yeah.
Long term.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I'm still 10 years out, but I still want to be a decent trader that's profitable.
Yep.
Last year, on a 50-ish K account using TOS, I got hit pretty hard on some of the dips, especially in October and November.
Yeah.
Took about $8,000 loss throughout the year, didn't profit. So now my confidence is low with the 9 to 5. I'm trying to trust the levels, but with costs, doing calls and puts, it's tough for me to monitor when it hits the level.
Yeah.
And ensuring that I get out in time, because you know how fast it goes.
Yeah.
Any guidance for our 9 to 5 folks who still want to intraday trade, profit, and then most importantly, be comfortable with higher size. Right now, not confident to go over 1,000 per trade.
Yep.
Even though I have a 50K cash account. Thanks.
All right, you got it. So, first things, I actually had this conversation yesterday with someone. I think a lot of people trade maybe a product that doesn't align with their situation. So, I would definitely say that trading anything same week is probably, like same week expiration, is probably not a good idea. Because just naturally the anxiety will be higher and the need to watch it more closely will be higher, right? You're just going to have to be so, like, I can't walk away from my screen, even me, if I have same day or even same, like, maybe 2 days till expiration contracts, because I know, one thing happens and this thing's toast, right? And so that's really tough. Like today, even, I was selling any contract that had the word May in it today, I was selling before I could leave my desk, because I don't like looking at my phone when I'm, out doing things, or I don't want to get hit in the face by something with short-term expiration. And so I try to resolve or, reduce that risk before I leave or before I, stop watching the market. So if they're, for a lot of people, and Chef, definitely go back, and I don't know if you listened to the Chef Joe conversation we had on Trader Hotline. It's on the channel. You can go check it out. But Chef is a really good example of someone that works a 9 to 5 that has been successful with trading. And for him, it's all about, zooming out on higher time frames. So everything is monitored on a 30-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute hourly time frame. Not really trying to take advantage of some kind of 2-minute scalp or 5-minute scalp, or, what's going to happen over the next 20 minutes, right? Now, if you're, this is different. If you're able to sit down and actually commit those times to intraday trade. Now, let me ask that before I go any further. Are you actually committing, let's say, an hour or so to be fully locked in, or are you like fully, you can't really sit down and watch the markets on an intraday basis? Where are we with that, Trey?
With the current schedule, Tuesday through Thursday in the office, but Monday and Friday I can dedicate that time. Okay, so you really don't have too much time to, sit down. Like a Monday and Friday, sure, maybe you'll look, but I don't even want you intraday trading on Friday, especially not zeros, okay? Like that's just, it's not something I think anyone should be doing. And I think I have finally turned a leaf to, I don't think I'll ever trade a 0DTE again, to be honest, because I've seen more gains this month. Like, don't fall victim to thinking that you can only make money trading if you're trading short-term expiration or short-term trading. I have made more money this month with overnight swings, and of course it's due to market conditions, but when market conditions are this way, right, which you will see in the future, it's more beneficial and actually more kind to individuals that are 9 to 5, right, that are, not able to watch the screens all day. This market condition that you're currently seeing is actually the most beneficial for you, because previously when the market's channeling and chopping and going sideways and being affected by a Trump tariff news every 30 seconds, you have no business being a part of that market, right? Like, that is incredibly difficult, and there's nothing to trust, right? You can't trust anything that's going on. Right now, as you've seen, I'm sure, and Trey, I know your name's not Trey, it's your son's name. What's your name, sir? Rusty.
Rusty. Okay. So Rusty, right? Like, when we were back in the chop channel, like that's 0 DTE, that's short-term trading, bam, bam, bam. That was the only way to make profit, right? You hold something too long, before you know it, that thing's toast, right? Like within the next 20 minutes, it's a totally different situation, right? Recently, you've been, seeing clear hourly uptrends and clear previous day high levels and clear, retests and longs. And when you look at that hourly chart, right, it makes a lot more sense now. Like when we go to the NASDAQ hourly chart, we can see some of this clean structure that's going on here. We can see a high here. We could see a low here, right? We could see this demand hold here. We could see these levels here, right? Now, let's go ahead and take a look at what the hourly chart or even the daily chart looked like back in the beginning of this year, right? If we go back here, I mean, look at this. Like, you tell me what's going to happen here. Your guess is as good as mine, right? I have no idea what's going to happen here. So over this entire month, this is February to the end of March. It was completely terrible. So during that time frame, I think it's important for someone like you and the 9-to-5 traders out there to be even more strategic and more surgical about the markets that they put themselves into. I want to make sure that the market's in a clear trend. I want to make sure that the market's providing, something I can trust, right? Maybe I want to see a little bit less Trump effect, right? A little bit less headline risk. And we really haven't had much headline risk lately, right? There hasn't really been much, intraday panic attacks been going on. So all these things should be taken into consideration of, am I going to put on risk as a 9-to-5 trader, right? These are real things. These are things that people don't want to think about because they just want to say, I want to put on risk. I want to make money, right? Money, 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 money. And this is usually what leads us to lose because we're not taking into consideration these things. Is this an environment for me? Is this choppy and should I stay away from it? All these things are things I want you to think about. But what I would do, right, is do a little bit more of that higher time frame analysis that I'm sure you see me do, right? Like that hourly chart, 4-hour chart analysis. Take trades based off some of those things, right? Like a trade that I would be maybe starting to formulate for yourself, right? Not ready yet, but let's say like the meta gap fill, right? Okay, I'm going to slow down on my intraday trades, and I'm just going to start watching meta, okay? If meta can get above this 624 level and really prove to me that it's going to maintain above that, I'm going to take a 2-month out meta long, right? And I'm going to see if I can catch a meta gap fill. And that will be my trade, right? I'm like actually strategically setting up trades based off of higher time frames. I'm not like trying to guess if meta is going to go up on the 1-minute chart today on a little, 1-minute break and retest, and hopefully over the next 5 minutes I'm right. No, I'm looking at trades zoomed out and saying, hey, this is an opportunity. Meta to fill this upside gap might be a really big trading opportunity, and let me try to see if I can find the confirmation to take that trade and see if I can hold it for a few days, right? And just sort of go to work, check to see what meta's doing, check to see if it's still, valid, put my phone down, right? Maybe an hour later, hey, let me pop in, let me see what meta's doing. I have 2 months on my contract, so even if meta did turn around and broke my stop, I'm probably down 10%, maybe 15%, something comfortable, right? I'm not down 70% because I have 0 DT options that are going to, go away in a blink of an eye. So you're sort of putting yourself in a situation to where the vehicle you're trading provides the ability to be patient, and you're finding high-quality setups on higher time frames. Like another one that I've really liked over the last few days was ARM. ARM was another swing trade that I was sort of watching, right? And it was this, reclaim of 216. And this is another trade that, hey, okay, on the hourly time frame, ARM held the daily 20, right? ARM held above this 216 level. And I'm going to look for a proper entry point to take a 2-month out contract on ARM and see if I can get this to target 243, right? And sort of, so you're slowing the pace down, but that doesn't mean you're making less, right? Because if you take a July contract on ARM on like this 216 retest and it goes to 245 and you hold for that move, you're going to make more money than you would make trying to scalp this on an intraday basis and being wrong, 4 out of 10 times. Right? And so you're sort of slowing down that pace, taking longer contracts, but you're still doing really quality analysis, right? You're really taking quality trade setups. Another great trade setup recent. Go ahead. What do you got?
I mean, that's two things real quick to reply to that. I mean, that's perfect guidance because when I take zero DTEs, it doesn't work that day, but the following day,
oh yeah, absolutely,
hit my target
story of my life.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And the second point is this is perfect guidance because I'm also a long account, and thanks to your guidance as well, my long account is extremely successful. I'm up 500+% on MU.
Yep.
I'm up 400% on others. So what you're saying is it's actually working on the long account. I didn't realize zero DTEs is really what's killing me in my situation.
I think what you need to understand, and what a lot of people out there need to understand, is you don't, like, I've had this conversation with some mentorship people, and they'll be like, hey, Desi, I'm a really good futures trader, and I'm profitable. Like, hey, I am legitimately a profitable futures trader. And then they'll say, but I'm not really profitable with options, and I can't really get a feel for, like, short-term trading options. And my question to them is, why? Why are you even trying to trade short-term options? You're profitable at futures trading. What's the point, right? So, Rusty, not Trey, why feel the need, just because I do it, right, sometimes, maybe that's a reason, but I want you to understand that what I'm teaching, right, the value that, we provide, and we teach about the levels and the setups and the longer-term time frames and all this stuff, this can be applied to whatever fits your style, right? There is absolutely no reason to be trading short-term contracts if you don't have the time, and you can still make a ton of money not trading short-term options. Short-term options trading right now is the worst thing to be doing. Hands down, the worst thing to be doing. Why? Because everything is just running continuously. Someone that's made 100 decisions over this period has probably made less money on Apple than just buying it off of 265 and trusting that if that level holds and this continues to make higher lows, that I'm just going to hold an August long, right? So let's say a trader had, took an August contract, 270 calls on Apple because it held above this level, right? Beautiful level. I'm taking a 260 call on Apple, August expiration. They have done nothing for the last 3 weeks, 1 month, and they're probably up 300%, right? 200%. That person has made probably tenfold what someone with, that keeps on trying to trade zero DTs on Apple for the last month has made, right? Like, there is no reason to be taking more trades right now and trying to overcomplicate intraday price action. Especially in the market you're in. Now, of course, that's going to change, right? Rusty, this is not going to last forever. There's not going to be continuation markets forever, but that's going to be the moment in time where, you learn to back off and say, all right, conditions aren't the same, and maybe I need to, back off some of these continuation-looking trades. But overall, my recommendation for you and for any 9-to-5 trader out there, you can absolutely make money taking longer dated contracts with hourly 4-hour chart analysis with major levels. It doesn't mean it's going to always work, but you're going to reduce volatility. You're not going to have to watch it all day. You're going to be able to, you're going to have to find and maybe this will help you try to trust things more, right? Like, start to experiment with that. Like, all right, I'm going to find the trade setup that I've taken a day to analyze, 2 days to analyze. I like this trade. Like I've actually looked into this trade and I found a reason to take a position. I'm going to take that trade. I'm going to trust that level, and I'm going to see what the outcome of this is. Basically, once you enter it, that's it, right? You have your target. You have your exit. You're not micromanaging it. You're going to probably take less trades, which is most likely a good thing, all right? And it will depend on your analysis at the end of the day, which if you can continue to get better and better at your creating levels and the analysis, which, you got me on your side, right? Creating these levels and helping you find setups. So hopefully that'll help you. And
Absolutely.
I think that's how you approach it. I think that there's no correct advice for me to give you that includes me telling you to trade short-term expiration contracts. That is not good advice, and I'm not going to provide that. So people that work a 9 to 5 are going to have to accept that. There are ways to tailor, and you've seen plenty of examples of it. Someone like Chef, and go watch that video on our channel. He goes through his whole explanation of what he does, and maybe that'll give you some insight.
Appreciate it. Yeah, this is great. I'm gonna go look back at it. I missed that last one, so I'm gonna check it out now. And yeah, again, thanks. This is excellent advice. Makes perfect sense. Shout out to you and Nick and
Appreciate
Chef.
that.
You've been killing it this year as well, man. And keep it up.
Thank you. Yeah, hit me up though. I mean, like you message me in Discord, email us, keep me updated with everything. Let me know if you have any questions.
We'll do. I'll check in about a month, so see how it's working out. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Have a great night.
Thank you, too.
See ya. All right. Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, guys, tailor the system to your everyday life. That's the only way. Very important. Can you tell me why you would take a 2-6 concept? I like to trade. So for me, with swing trades, preferably, I like to be in the money at all times. That they're more expensive, but they reduce volatility, and you stay in the money. And staying in the money is always good for the option premium. So I like to stay in the money. The more aggressive would be to like buy the strike at your profit target. But the problem with that is that the consolidation is going to crush you over, at a certain time. If it consolidates for too long, you're going to start getting a deterioration in your option premium. So for me, if I'm taking a swing trade, I like to be in the money, very slightly out of the money, if so. But for me, I like in the money swing trades. You're not getting affected by the time value as much. You're staying in the money. Your extrinsic and intrinsic value is much better, and it allows you to not be. You're not going to lose as much if it goes sideways or goes against you slightly. You're going to stay, at a much more conservative percentage point loss, and it just helps you maintain, right? It helps you hold. Swing trades are meant to be held. You're not supposed to exit a swing. Like, for example, guys, here's a great example on an Apple chart, right? If you were swing trading Apple, today is not a reason to exit that trade, okay? Look at this chart. You have a high, a high, a high. And the swing trade here the Apple swing trade should be based off of Apple retesting 295 and creating a higher low, right? And so if you enter a swing trade here yesterday and then you exit it because it was sideways today, you're not swing trading. You're panicking, right? You're panicking. You need to say, I'm long Apple as long as it's above 295, right? And I'm going to allow it to do whatever it wants to do. Apple could go like this for 3 days. It's still above 295, right? And this is something I failed to do, actually, right? I had a swing trade on Apple. You guys know that. This is an example of my failure here. I got bored. And this is not, this is bad by me today or yesterday. I got bored on Apple. I had an Apple swing trade for 3 days. I was in Apple over previous all-time highs. I was holding it for 3 days. And finally yesterday, on Tuesday, I just said, get me out of this thing. I was in the profit. It rejected this high again. And I said, you know what? Just get me out, right? And guess what happens the next day? Bam. And I'm like, yeah, I deserve that, right? I deserve that because consolidation is not a reason to exit a swing trade. That is good, right? I said to myself when I took that trade, I will, and you guys can attest to this if you're in the group. You remember this trade. It was just a few days ago. I am in Apple swing trades as long as it's above previous all-time high to see if it can continue above the previous all-time high. What did I do? I held it for 3 days and I got bored of it and sold it for a small profit. Next day, it goes straight up. There was never a reason for me to sell that trade. Never. It never broke below a level. It never, did anything that says, hey, this trade's invalidated. What did I do? I got bored. And guess what? I pay the price. The next day, it goes straight up. So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate more of you coming here tonight. I know we didn't get to everyone's. I know we didn't get to all the questions. But I hope that you did enjoy listening in to some people, some people's questions, some people's situations. We do this every Thursday at 8 p.m. Next Thursday will be the last one for 2 weeks because I will be away. I'm going to be in Italy enjoying a beautiful Mediterranean vacation. So after next Thursday, we'll be away for 2 weeks, but we'll get right back to it. I hope that you enjoy the concepts that we talk about and enjoy the concept of the channel. If you do, make sure to go ahead and subscribe. Make sure to press the like button. Nick's going to kill me if I don't say, go ahead and purchase some Insiders Coffee Co. for these late nights. So if you guys want to check out our Insiders Coffee Co. that keeps you caffeinated of trading coffee, traded a coffee that is tailored towards traders for the midnight grind, the technical analysis, all that good stuff. Make sure to check it out. Put the link in the chat. Insiders Coffee Co. And that's about it. Hope to see you guys tomorrow on the live stream on my main channel. Make sure to go and make sure to be there. Show up tomorrow 8 a.m. Nick, any last words for the group?
Appreciate all the support. Show up next week. Thanks, everyone.
Come on, you got to give us something better than that.
Pick up the phone
and start dialing. That's what I want. There we go. Love it. All right, guys. Have a fantastic rest of your night. That's a good one, Nick. That's a good one. All right. You guys sleep well. I'll see you tomorrow. Or see some of you tomorrow. Peace.